Hey, Justice Warriors, let's get the show on the road. I have been rearranging all my fun stuff back here, and it is after 10:30 at night on Sunday, July 16th. And I got to get myself to bed so I can get going with the start of a good work week. As many of you know, if you've been keeping up with my current stuff, I was working my side hustle over the weekend, lifeguarding, so I haven't been doing so much of the YouTube, but it's good to do different things. Um, this morning I woke up and Ara was on a live. She'd been on for a couple hours, and I hopped onto the panel, and Squirrels on Fire hopped onto the panel, and now I can't find the live. So I don't know if she took it down or what's going on with it, but I was hoping to review it. It was fun. It was really fun hanging with my homies. So let me do my routine of asking you guys. Oh no, don't knock over stuff. That's not my routine. Dang it. Oh, I'm gonna just knock over everything. It's gonna be like dominoes. My tranquility, baby. Gotta have my tranquility. Okay, here we go. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. Try not to knock over everything. I'll try not to knock over everything, but share, subscribe, ring your notification bell if you feel like it. Thank you for watching. Everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion. I'm always hoping to learn something, and I hope that my videos are educational for others as well. So, as you know, I've been pretty focused on the Idaho 4, still focused on Kylie Rodney. Um, I like to keep up with the Squirrel Squad and what's going on over there, and Ara's been doing some amazing work. I'm telling you, Ara can cook spaghetti, and it's amazing work. She actually made a cooking video where she was cooking spaghetti, and I watched it because it was Ara, and that woman is amazing. And I'm serious. She totally inspired me to just like cook BLTs or whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy. After you've cooked thousands and thousands of meals for your family, it gets old. So after you've ordered thousands of pizzas, you need to get back to cooking. Anyway, I have all these great things that I wrote down that I really want to share with you guys before I wrap it up for the night. So this whole thing with the Idaho 4 and this Rambo style knife, this Rambo style unaliving spree, do you really honestly think that this intellectual vegan did this? It's so much more like a Rambo type of person did it. Remember, this intellectual vegan scored higher than anybody in the state of Pennsylvania on some standardized test, supposedly in high school. That's not to say that it's impossible for somebody like that to do something like this, but it just doesn't jive. And when people talk about Brent Kopaka having this type of training to put him in a position to do something like that, let me be clear. I have never, ever thought for a second that Brent Kopaka did this. Honestly, never for a second have I ever thought Brent Kopaka did this. I have wondered a lot if he was set up too to have something to do with it and didn't know. This is my theory. Maybe Brent Kopaka and Brian Koberger were both working with law enforcement, and they thought that what they were doing was legal for law enforcement. And then things went crazy and sideways, and then maybe people are getting thrown under the bus. It just doesn't seem very likely to me. This whole situation is so unlikely. It reeks to high heaven of lies, all of it from the ground up, you guys. And over time, I mean, we've had like 8 months now. the stories just don't hold water. They don't stand the test of time. It's not checking out, people. It's simply not checking out. Let me get a drink of water. Cotton mouth. Always with the cotton mouth. This is one of the reasons I like lifeguarding because you're forced to stay hydrated, get your sleep, and stay well nourished because you're on. And if something were to happen on your watch, there's no if. It's just not going to happen like that. So you got to stay focused. And while I'm lifeguarding, I'm kind of meditating. I'm like, making sure I know exactly how many people are where, and it just really kind of unplugs you and gets you focused and centered. And that's when I have my clearest thoughts of things like this. Another analogy from my lifeguarding today, you're constantly scanning the water to look for irregularities. If there's an irregularity in the surface of the water, there's very likely something going on under that you can't see because of the reflection. And I thought, man, is that a metaphor for these cases? You're looking at the surface and it all looks smooth and you can't really see past it, but you see an irregularity and you need to take a closer examination. There's something going on there. So, a couple of questions I have about does anybody remember what time Kaylee's mother said that they first heard something happened to Kaylee on Sunday, November 13th? Wasn't it around 10:30 that they got a message from somebody that said something horrible happened? Um, okay, I don't know what that was. That was nonsense. I was reading a note from something not from today, so sorry about that. Um, this is a thought I had, crazy as it may sound. Could Margaret Atwood and Jack in the Box sue for having their names dragged into this ridiculous insanity? Having their names dragged through the mud, being associated and affiliated with these horrible crimes? Seriously. Just like in the Kylie Rodney case. I wonder if Odd Life and Lana Del Rey would want to sue people that dragged their names into this ridiculous case. Even AAA. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on TV. No, I don't. Um, Actually, a lot of people in my lifetime have thought that I'm an attorney because of the legal work that I've done with mental health and with family court. So there's been times in my life where I've dressed like a lawyer and spoken like a lawyer and looked like a lawyer, but I've never been a lawyer, not even close. So, these stories, the Kylie Rodney story, the Idaho Forest story, they were very vague in the beginning. It was just like with Idaho 4, it's like, oh, these four students got slaughtered in this house. With Kylie Rodney, oh, the 16-year-old went to this party and was never seen again. Okay? These are very vague stories. That's not how you tell it. If you were there or you know this person, you're going to tell in great detail exactly what happened when, exactly where you were when you last saw this person, exactly where you were when you last spoke with them, when you last texted them. You're going to go into great detail. These people in both of these situations, these friends or frenemies, as I like to call them, have also forgotten to ruminate. When something horrible happens to somebody that you care about and you were associated with the situation, there's always the woulda, shoulda, coulda, the what if. What if things were slightly different? What if I had gone here and not there? What if there was a moment delay and not that? These kids, these young adults, have forgotten how to play their roles, in my humble opinion. Okay. Yeah, specifics. Things aren't adding up, things aren't checking out, things aren't holding water. Just not. Also, the self-blame and the survivor guilt. Like, why couldn't it have been me and not them? There's always that in real life when it's not pretend, when it's not a made up fabrication. So I wanted to say we all know that doctoral students can be prima donnas, right? And we all know that vegans can be pretentious, holier than thou. And how annoying do you think a prima donna doctoral student, pretentious vegan might be in a police department in a place like Pullman or Moscow? I don't know. I doubt they have a lot of vegans. I doubt in the police departments. I could be wrong. I also doubt they have a lot of people with higher education degrees. Typically, a high school diploma and an associate's, not even an associate's degree, simply a police academy, which is really a certification um, that usually can take anywhere from 4 to 9 months, depending. But again, typically, police departments don't require even a bachelor's degree. So, something I wanted to point out that Harsh Reality has said over this weekend that I think is brilliant, and I hadn't thought of this and I hadn't heard anyone else say it. In the context of the DNA taken from the knife sheath, that DNA sample would be consumed in the testing. Testing takes a lot of material. So if this was a tiny little piece of DNA, molecules, or what have you, the testing in Idaho probably would have consumed most, if not all of it, in my opinion. So when you have a blood test that requires more than a drop of blood, it requires a test tube. When you're testing DNA, you're not going to have a lot left over in a situation like what they have described. Like they've described it as the amount of DNA that could be on a head of a pin or something like that. That would get consumed in the testing. So, how they would have enough to send to Texas after testing in Idaho, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. So, I also wanted to bring up the Papa Roger showing up in people's chats. Specifically, I was in a live chat of Sleuthy Goosey's a few days ago, and Papa Roger showed up in that, or a Papa Roger. I don't buy this whole theory that that profile is the criminal defendant. My suspicion is that that profile is somebody trying to make themselves look like the criminal defendant. So I think it's very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. So, as far as us justice warriors and truth seekers on the interwebs are, I feel like it's something that I'm more than willing to get involved in trying to help find justice for people that I don't even know, because I feel like it's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. And it's not going to make the world safer to stick your head in the sand and pretend that this isn't happening. It's just not. It's not going to help. It's not going to help anything change. Situations like what's going on over there in Moscow, we need to know WTF. It's my belief that if anybody has involvement in trying to cover it up in their investigating, that they have involvement. So That's my big thought for the day. I'm going to say peace out, you guys. Have a really good night. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you are going to be off to the start of a very productive work week. Here we are, mid July. It's getting close to the end of summer for some people. I know in the South they start school earlier because it's so freaking hot down there. In Ohio, we usually start probably in August. Doesn't it seem like school starts earlier and earlier? Um, anyway, I love fall. Fall's my favorite time of year, pumpkin season. And you guys recognize that the pumpkin is in honor of Gabby Petito. Rest her soul. Rest in peace, Miss Gabby. I just want to do whatever I can to help pursue proper justice for these kids, for the Idaho 4, for Kylie Rodney, for Dylan. How do I say his name? Rousley? Something like that. And his mother, Gina. That is the case that Ara has brought to light, that she's been talking about, and I've been talking about, and I'm not sure too many others have been talking about it yet. But hopefully, with Ara and Gina and you, we can get the word out there that there's some effery going on, you guys, and it's not safe for anybody. So do what you can, is my take on things. Every little bit helps. And, sometimes it's overwhelming and it's natural to feel overwhelmed, and just give yourself a break and take it one day at a time. We have to take care of ourselves first. We have to take care of the people around us. Be safe, be kind, get your rest, your relaxation, your nutrients, high protein, high produce, exercise, and just be kind. All right. Have a great night, you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll try not to knock anything else over. Take care.